So right, we're going to do the Name That Boom Boom first. Are you ready, ladies? Because you will get this one.
Yeah.
Right, you will get this one. Night creatures call and the dead start to walk in their masquerade. They're not escaping the jaws of the alien this time. They're open wide. This is the end of your life. Oh, come on, ladies. Come on, ladies. Oh my God. Jump. I'll have to sing this one, but night creatures calling the dead star night. There's no escaping the claws of the alien in time. Dude, it's your eyes. Thriller. Thriller. It was Thriller.
Thriller.
Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Thriller.
I have to be honest, I did sound like someone was squeezing my balls then. I went a little bit too.
What a thriller it was.
Do you think they were different Thriller? You just can't believe some people so fucking.
I'm surprised Steve didn't come in and ask if you were okay.
He got him. Right, you will get this one, ladies. I'm positive you will get this. You know, every time you bring that drink up to your mouth, it looks like you got someone clawing your face, Karen. Ooh. Right, you will get this one. I'm just an average man with an average life. I work from 9 to 5.
Watching me.
Yay! I pay the price. All I want to do is be left alone. But why do I feel like I live in a twilight zone? Somebody's watching you. Oh,
I got a feeling
somebody's watching you.
I got no privacy. Yeah.
Do you know what? We're literally like the 3 degrees, well, 4 degrees to be fair.
Well, we think we are.
I know, Karen. I have no qualms, and I know I sound
Actually, you're not too bad. You are in tune. We just think it's funnier to tell you.
You're in tune. He's dead. That's
no, we just like to tell you you're not because it's funnier.
It is funnier. Right, your third one. You will get this. You will get this one. Right. Is there something weird and it don't look good? Who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters.
Hey! See, I knew you'd get one. Right, here's another one for you. You're my guy. What the doctor orders. So you're so sweet, you make my mouth water. This song, right? It's really bizarre because I wouldn't put this down as a Halloween song. But
sounds more like a porno one.
Well, we look like we could do it, to be fair, all of us. Right, you're my guy. You're what the doctor ordered. You're so sweet, you make my mouth water. Jump to sing it.
Yeah.
Go wow, go wow, go out in the country with snakes in grass are absolutely free.
Big Johnny's big leggy.
What?
I think Johnny's big leggy, isn't it?
No, I want Candy Bow Wow Wow.
Oh, but they did Big Johnny's big leggy or something as well, didn't they?
Sounded a bit different.
Right, this is your last, but this ain't your last, but this is your last one, ladies.
Go on then.
You read that? Oh, here she comes. Watch out, boys. She'll chew you up. Oh, here she comes.
She's a man-eater.
Man-eater. Well done, ladies. Hey. You know what? After that, I feel like my mask is just stuck on the face. Right, so we're going to talk about Halloween. 80s Halloween. And I have to be honest, I mean, it's Halloween and Bonfire Night. Because I was thinking of just doing Halloween, but I thought, no, because Bonfire Night for me in the 80s was just, it was special for me. I absolutely loved it. It was, you know what I mean? It was like Guy Fawkes Night, especially Bonfire Night. But we'll start with some of the Halloween. I mean, I don't know if I'll probably scare you to death with these in a minute. But one of my favorite films I used to love was, remember Fright Night?
Yes.
And that was like a comedy horror, wasn't it? It was like,
oh, what was his name? What was the guy's name in it? The famous guy.
Oh, I know what you mean. He was
the one that was the vampire killer.
He was the vampire that was killer, and it was honestly, It's supposed to have been a comedy, and I've been scared to laugh out. It was a comedy. But it was absolutely brilliant. They weren't they? I always think in the 80s. Yeah, I did.
They've made a remake, haven't they?
Oh, it's not the same though, is it? I mean, I'm sorry.
It's not the same,
They're
no.
never the same. And I'm going to mention this other film, and every single one of you should have heard of this one, The American Werewolf in London.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, when he turns into
Yeah.
wolf.
Yeah, that's horrible, isn't it? All his bones go funny.
Yeah, and do you know, I mean, when you think that was like 1981.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, it was like, but that was like a comedy film in the 80s, wasn't it? It was like.
Freaked me out big time was Salem's Lot.
Oh my God.
They were floating outside the window. I was like, oh my good. I was like,
I can remember watching that. I mean, that came out at the end of the 70s. It was end of 79. It was December time, but it was repeated.
David Soul, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I remember watching that in the 80s, and it was just, there was loads of it. But you know, there's a bit where the actor's sitting in the chair, isn't there? David Soul comes into the room and he just rocks in this chair and he goes, and that did me complete. And the bit where the kids are floating out the window and they open the window.
I didn't like that bit at all. Didn't like that bit at all.
No, but you know, when you watch it now, I have to be honest, when I watched it the other week.
Oh, it's laughable now.
Oh God, yeah. It's just, you just think to yourself, really? Because the demons as well are just so over the top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, and I suppose it's like another film like The Lost Boys. I mean, The Lost Boys.
I love that film.
How good is Lost?
Love that film. Only because there was a lot of eye candy in it.
Yeah. No.
Jason, I know people.
Horror. I just thought he was
You just wanted them to bite your neck. Jason Patrick was in that, wasn't he? He was beautiful. He was a beautiful human being.
There was another guy in it though, and he was no, he's not famous. He's not famous. He hasn't made loads of films, but he plays a lot of American Indian guys in films, and he was one of the baddies. But he had the long black hair.
Long black hair, yes, he did.
Gorgeous. He's real. He plays Indian, though, like red Indians. Not.
See, that's the worry. Do you know what worries me about that? Because I've heard that they're going to remake that, and it's like, no. I always think in my head, there's some films you just leave alone. You have to leave them alone. It's like, you know, you just can't, and especially horrors as well. I think with horror films, they ruin it with all the CGI, don't they? And it's like, you know what I mean? And things like, I mean, one of my ultimate horror, I don't think Wendy likes this one, is The Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger.
No.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Honestly, Wendy, he was watching it now. I love it because they're iconic, aren't they? They're quite cult films. But I always remember, because Johnny Depp was in the first one. It was one of his first ever acting parts. When he gets sucked through the bed. I couldn't have said sucked off in the bed then. Sucked in the bed.
So I think I was about 17. I wasn't old enough to go and see it. I know that. So I was probably about 16, 17. So probably 80, 81. We had this cinema. We had our big cinema in town. And then we had this hotel that lived was near my house, but it had their own little cinema down the bottom. And it was really cheap and cheerful. You could kind of get away with going in underage because never really checked. So they just let you in. And they had a double bill. And they had Piranha and Friday the 13th. And I thought, it'd be fine. We can watch both of those.
You scared both of these to death. That's mentioning Friday the 13th.
And I got home that night. I remember my friend's sister picked us up to drop me off, and they shone they always used to shine the light on my front door so that I could see to get in. That was fine. I was fine with that. Got in, said hello to my mum. Hi. Went to bed, and I was never allowed to have a light on in my bedroom until they had to go off. I wasn't allowed to have a night light, nothing. I thought, no, it's okay. I can do this. And there was one bit in the film where the girl gets killed on the bed and the arrow goes up under the bed through her neck. And I slept all night like this.
Oh,
Like that was going to stop you.
Thinking, I'll be fine. Checked under my bed.
but
It
that-
was just crazy.
But when you and it's like, and you watch them now, you just think, really? It's like with
Yeah.
with Nightmare on Elm Street films. I mean, it was like the 1, 2, Fred is coming for you. That used to.
I love
We-
the Halloween franchise.
Yeah. To be honest,
My head off at that so many times.
I just think, and Scream Queen, she's an actual Scream Queen, isn't she? That's what they call Jamie
Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis, because
Okay.
they were one of the first ever. Well,
But
not
they're
ever,
so
but they were-
predictable, though,
they are.
aren't they?
It's some busty girl running around screaming.
he's behind you. Run.
Yeah.
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 Don't go in the hole. Or don't go in the tunnel.
And there they go.
Yeah.
Don't go in the empty house.
Go.
Don't go in there.
And that's the first. Do you know what I always think? If I was ever in a horror film and I had a noise downstairs, one, my house would be like Blackpool Illumination because I'd switch every light on. And I just think, you see them, don't you? That there's a noise downstairs, and then they creep downstairs in the dark. Why are you in the dark?
And then the lights don't work.
Yeah.
If a flipping light is not working, I'm out of there.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
absolutely.
taking it
God.
off to try and
They were-
find out whether it works or not.
I still jump today. I am petrified of the dark even
Oh,
now.
yeah.
I'm petrified of the dark and I won't watch any horror movies ever.
Oh, God.
I feel as though I was traumatized. I think I was traumatized. I watched them because they were on and everybody watched them in the house and
Oh,
I'm behind
God.
the pillar
We're
looking.
going to traumatize Wendy now, Karen. You do, Karen Kazzie.
So often, and I have watched them, but I think I've blocked them out of my mind and I can't watch them at all.
One of the ones that did me was, remember Poltergeist?
Yeah.
I was just.
I mean, honestly, you know when yeah, and to be honest, they had a lot of things, didn't they? Thought there was a lot of like, yeah, a lot of stuff going on in that thingy because a lot of the actors died because she was 12 when she had a
Yeah.
heart attack.
Yeah.
The girl did, and then the little woman died, and then the older bloke didn't. And then I didn't realize, the girl that played her sister in it, she died as well. She took her own life. I mean, how sad's that? You know what I mean? It's whether it's all coincidence or not. But Poltergeist, I used to, oh my god, because I don't mind, the gore doesn't bother me. I have to be honest, the guts, none of that bothers me. It's the jump factor that I can't.
Yeah.
Like if they can spill the guts all over the place for all I care. It doesn't bother me. It's the jump factor, and I think with things like Poltergeist and Friday, like Nightmare and Friday the 13th, all them are quite jumping. It was and even Halloween, because as much as they were quite predictable, weren't they? They were still very.
This made me laugh though because Bugger couldn't run.
He couldn't.
run.
He,
Only walk, and he walked really.
and he walked really
slow.
quick. And I was thinking, I'd get away from you.
So
I'd
they
get away
look
from
at
you.
him. They look at him and they start running, and he's come across in his boiler suit, and you think, "Hang on a minute." The time it's taken him to get out of that door, because he's like a robot, and get down them stairs, I'd have been on the other side of the country by now.
I'd been gone by then. It wouldn't make a good film, would it?
Oh, did they used to get him? It used to crack me up.
Oh, and do you know? And there was another film I was going to talk. You ever watched Hellraiser?
No, I didn't bother with that one.
All the spikes.
Yeah. Did you? Please don't tell me you watched that, Wendy. That
No.
would literally traumatize you. I can remember watching that, and I was used to horror films, and I can remember watching that and thinking, "Not on your what the flying." It was faces tore, and it was like,
Yeah.
oh, and even me pulling people's, and I thought, and that was literally, I mean, that was like a 1987 film. That wasn't like a newish one, but they're remaking them all again, aren't they? So,
Oh,
you know what I mean? They just ruin them. It's like I think someone said, you ever watched the film Christine about the car?
yeah.
See, that's classed as like a horror-y, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Spooky, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, things like, and House, and I loved House because that was a comedy. If you've never watched that, House is it's very much an over the top comedy horror. Do you know, one of those you only watch it the once because you don't ever want to watch it again. Oh my God!
It's a good excuse for a party, though, isn't it? Like years ago, I remember I lived in London, and me and my friend, we made our witches' costumes from scratch.
Oh, really?
And we literally went and bought this great big huge black material. We cut out like yellow stars. We had false noses. We made these hats from scratch out of cardboard. I mean, we literally went to town on it. Yeah, it was brilliant.
But that's what Halloween is, isn't it? And I think as much as it's all the films and the thing, it's like, I know people do Halloween now. I mean, we get the kids come around now, but when we were kids and we used to go to Halloween, it was like, I mean, it was even the parents dressed up like you all are at the moment. They when I go, the kids just dress and the parents are just stood there, and it's all about. And I know it's about sweets, and I know it's about candy, and I get all that. But I think America do it a lot better than we do, don't they? But I think we've got a lot better now. But I remember for me in the 80s growing up, because I was like 10, 12, I used to love dressing up. People say,
yeah, we know.
You'd be scared to death. I can remember someone coming to the door they did have a Freddy Krueger one on Wendy, and I can remember that absolutely scaring the life out of me.
Didn't have blinds, and he pulled the net curtain back, thinking, "Who is it?" Because he could see out the window.
Do you know? I'll do a confession. I can remember when Nightmare on Elm Street was this awful thing. I shouldn't even. Why are you overshot? And I can always remember. Now my sister's bedrooms was at the side of mine. I can remember God was only young. I can remember, this is how warped my mind is at that age, at like 12 or 13 or 14, I think it was. And I remember we just watched. No, it wasn't. It was Salem's Lot. And I always remember it was a bit later because Salem's Lot we repeated quite a lot, wasn't it? And I was quite young when I watched it. But right in the middle of the 80s, my sisters were all a bit older then, so they could. Oh, I can remember, like leaning around the side of my window, and they're there and just scratching the side of the window.
Oh, you bugger!
My sister just froze, and all I heard was this scream from one of my sisters. My other one and when she said nothing came out, it came out of my mouth. Yeah, she reminded me of that on one of the other podcasts, and I just thought, there's something wrong with you, Jay. I won't do that now.
They used to frighten me by doing the Dalek noise.
Oh God.
Oh.
I can always remember I can always remember the 80s because they were used as Halloween stuff as well with dogs because they were scared. I can remember the couple used to have the Daleks outside of their house, and there was only like and they used to scare the life out of me when you'd come on and they'd press the button, or they'd put candy there or something. You had to grab, and this dog used to come. Oh, God.
I was never allowed to go trick or treating.
Oh, how come?
I don't know. My mum just never let us out to do it.
Did you go, Wendy?
Yeah, I used to go. I used to go trick or treating, and I used to get kids out when they were little trick or treating. Go around all. Well, in the 80s, it was totally different because
it wasn't as big. It wasn't like loads of people didn't do it.
No, I think a lot of people. I suppose now it's a bit. It's like with you letting your kids go. I mean, that's why parents go with them. I mean, I have to be honest. My parents never came with me when I used to go trick or treating in the 80s. I think she just hoped that someone would take me.
We did Halloween parties for the kids.
Yeah. We had lots of Halloween parties.
Yeah.
We did all the toffee apples.
Oh yeah. I'll bet them.
The toffee dabs. I made all the toffee apples. I made my own toffee dabs. Got the lolly sticks.
Do you know, when you talk about that, I just think, Jay, it makes me go back and see how spiteful I must have been as a child, because I always remember having a pot. You know, when you dunk the apple, and you had to dunk it.
Your sister's head, did you?
I did.
Yeah, I knew you would.
Because she was too cocky, and she was getting every single one of them apples out. So if she did it, they all had long hair. My sisters have. I mean, it was never Karen.
Visit you now, Jason. I'm a little bit scared.
Someone played Dunk the Apple, and I always remember going like that. She just went like that, and she was You know, God, you know, because you, I think you lose, you, I don't think you lose it. You block it out a lot of it, don't you? Or you just don't want to remember it. But you know, like, that's why I love when you like did all the one-to-ones in talking about, because it brings it all back to the front of you, and you remember a lot of it. You know what I mean? It's like I didn't remember a lot of the stuff that I've spoke to you a lot about, and I think with the Halloween, that was a moment that I'd completely forgotten until Wendy brought up about Halloween.
When did Ghostbusters come out then?
Oh, that was in 80's.
That was
Was it?
80s.
Yeah,
Let me
that
have
was.
a look.
I think
Late 80s, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. I don't. The first one was. I'm sure the first one was a bit early 80's. It's even that. I mean, that was quite.
Ghostbusters. 1984.
Yeah.
84.
But even that, when you think with like Sigourney Weaver and the bit where, I mean, I know that it's not. I mean, when you watch it now, you just think to yourself, Jesus Christ, don't you? The effects were shocking, but at the time, I mean, them green eyes and all that used to scare the life out of kids.
I was bloody scared of the marshmallow Stay Puff bloody monster that came out.
Oh yeah.
What? You'd have been no good with the horrors then.
Stay Puff Marshmallow Man. I was like, what the frick is that?
Yeah, I call it Michelin Man. It's just like a blooming Michelin Man.
Yeah, he was, but that's what he was. And then it's when I used to, oh, he looks nice. And his face used to change, didn't it? That evil face. You think,
I know.
Christ.
There was some good songs though, wasn't there?
It was. And you know, one of the ones that, apart from Salem's Lot, one that traumatized me a bit later on was a bit, was a bit earlier, just afterwards. You ever heard of the Amityville, The Possession? The Amityville.
Yeah.
That, I have to be honest, that one traumatized me. No, Kazzie, honestly, that one, all I remember, and I can still remember the scene now, is when it was possessing the sister. It was a bit, I mean, when you watch it, and you watch it now, especially for 1982, it was a little bit close to the knuckle, because he was possessed and his sister, you know what I mean, trying it on with his sister and all, you know what I mean? It was all that. And I always remember his sister being possessed, and she just sat in the corner, and all I remember him bending down to talk to her, and she just literally, you know, that, and her head spun. Oh my, and that I was gone, and I couldn't watch the rest of it, so I waited till I was an adult to watch the rest of it. But oh my god, the Amityville 2, The Possession. Gee, there was some great 80s stuff, though.
Some of the songs that came out.
To be honest,
Omen
I was
as well. Omen.
oh
That.
yeah, it's like
Oh.
you can. When I was doing about like songs, and I mean, there was loads of them, but there was a lot that you wouldn't probably
quick
remember.
whiz through, because you've got that. Yeah, you've got that. Somebody's Watching Me. Thriller.
Monster Mash.
Oh, that was quite early. Monster Mash.
Yeah.
That was 62.
Was it?
1962. That one.
Has it?
Ow.
Ghost Town. Do you remember that one?
Ghost Town.
Yeah.
Special.
You're running
wasn't
like a ghost town. All right. See you in a bit.
In a bit.
Bye.
Bye.